And now when I go to heaven, what I want God to look at me and say is, I need to take every excuse that they may have away from them. That's when you know you're being a leader, when your life truly is it sucks. I'm good. I'm not scared to climb anymore. I go to the rock, hammered in, I got my belay, and I'm good to go. Motivation is crap. Right now, a lot of you right now can be motivated as hell, go out of here and be like, yeah. You have to be able to go into a very dark place in your mind and figure who you are. It's so easy to say that, man. It's so easy to say that, but to do that every day, to wake up every day miserable and say, God, I don't want to do this anymore.
What inspires you? What inspires you right now today to keep moving forward, to keep going? Like what, because obviously you started setting crazy goals even after you accomplished something that was crazy.
Still doing it.
Right. So what is it that inspires you?
Is you have to believe that you are here on this earth. So what changed my whole mindset, really? I was thinking, like, why the hell did God put me here? What am I doing here? If you have that mentality, you could be nothing. You have to believe that you are here for a reason. That there's some reason. Me getting beat up, me getting tortured, me being bullied, me being born with no foundation, me having to figure all this shit out on my own, figuring out this indestructible mental toolbox, had to be for a reason. And my reason, I believe now, I know for a fact, was to unlock the code to human potential. And for me to share that with people.
So when you reflect back, you talk about unlocking the code of human potential. Do you see that there is more?
But this is the thing, though. It's easier said than done.
Right.
On the other end of suffering is a life that many people don't know even exists. It's a beautiful world because like the 40% rule. We all live in this world where our brains are keeping us in this box. Outside that box, on the other edge of suffering, which is on the other edge of that 40%, is a world that's endless of opportunity. But we are afraid to go outside that box because in that box it's comfortable. That's where all of our nice stuff, that's where the nice 4-lane highway's at. I know where the restrooms are at. I know where the gas stations are at. Outside that box, man, God gives you a shovel and says, man, start digging. That's not fun. But when you dig your own path to all kind of stuff that's unknown. And that's why I started realizing, man, like on the other end of this is some beautiful stuff. So I got outside my box and realized, man, 300 pounds, now look at me, I'm 185 pounds, and on the other side of the box was all this stuff. And I didn't know it was over there until I climbed the wall and saw it.
So what wall are you climbing now?
Man, right now, I've climbed a lot of walls. There's no more walls anymore. The reason why is because I know how to climb. I was trying to figure out how to climb before. I got all the right gear, man. I got the ropes. I got the shoes. I got the chalk. I got the harnesses. I'm good. I'm not scared to climb anymore. I go to the rock, hammered in. I got my belay, and I'm good to go. So you got to figure out how to climb first, and that's all. We all have a different way of climbing. That's why there's a lot of books out there on mental toughness. It's all crap. Why? Because it's a cookie cutter way. Life isn't cookie cutter. Like 3.14 is pi. It's how you figure out equations. We're all different equations. We all have a story. We all have to strengthen our mind to figure out our own equation. Once you figure out your own equation in life, you can then start picking away at how to be better. But you first have to figure out your equation in life. Once you figure that out, man, you can do anything.
I believe inherently everyone knows that they have more inside them. Everybody wants more.
Right.
And we want to do more, we want to achieve more, but in order to do that, we have to become more, right?
Right.
And then we have something to contribute. You can't give what you don't have. And I think that identifying is half the battle. What is holding you back? What are those, what did you call it, false sense of realities that you're putting down? But what would you suggest or recommend for anyone in here that they're on that tipping point of breaking through? They're on that tipping point because right now we have this incredible environment where the energy's high, people's mindset's right. In the military, you all are trained in environments. That's why they tried to, drown you. And I remember last time you told a story of being put in like the Black Ocean, overnight. But what would you suggest to them their path to their more, their path to their better. That's kind of like our entire mantra as a company. Why we do what we do is to pursue better so we can inspire other people to do the same. But if we're not pursuing it,
right,
then we're not doing it. What would you recommend for them when they go back into those environments of what to expect? And, what's maybe a tool that you would recommend for them to try on to see if it fits?
Well, the biggest thing, I like what you're saying, because my big saying is motivation is crap. Right now, a lot of you right now can be motivated as hell, go out of here and be like, yeah, I'm motivated. Like you said, you're right. Without being driven or obsessed, this motivation fades. And motivation is at the all-time high when your bills are paid, when your wife or husband is good, when everything is good, you're motivated. It's that person when all hell breaks loose and everything falls apart that says, I still got to get it in. And how you get to that point in life, what I figured out, it's so noisy right now. This world is so noisy. We all walk around with these phones, computers. The world is so fast. We're not able to think. The most powerful weapon in the world, we walk around with it. It's our mind. It's our brain. You have to be able to go into a very dark place in your mind and figure who you are. Go back to what you want to do. What's your purpose? We can't figure our purpose out or why we're here or why we're even born or whatever because it's so loud in our mind. We don't have any quiet time with ourselves to sit back and say, what do I really want? There's so many different dialogues in our head that we can't think. So my biggest thing is you have to be alone in a very dark place in your mind to think about what is important to you.
Awesome. And so kind of piggyback off that, you've spent a lot of time alone. What is something that you learned about yourself through your process or your journey?
I learned I was leaving a lot on the table. And that's what scares me the most. I'm good now, but what haunts me is that at 24 years old, I was 300 pounds. And if I didn't make a right turn, if I decided to just give in to the feelings I had, I would have died a 300 or 400 pound man working some minimum wage job in my casket, never knowing that I was this guy. And what fear, so I believe in God. And what scares me the most is I believe that God, in my own mind, I'm a big visualization person. So what keeps me going is like visualizing. It's not true, but it helps me. I believe that God had this big chart in heaven. And when you get there, if you earn your right to get there, you get there in heaven, and you get there, let's say I walked up at 300 pounds. And God says, hey, man, great job, you made it to heaven. And he rips this page down from Brian Underwood. And now it says David Goggins' chart. He rips it down, throws that paper to the side. And he says, look at this. And I'm reading it. I go, what is this? He goes, how much do you weigh? 300 pounds. What did you do? I was a pest control guy for 40 years. He says, this is what you were supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? A 185-pound person. Be able to run 205 miles. Break the pull-up record. Motivate people. Energize people. Make them driven. Make them passionate. Make them find more. So am I in heaven or in hell? That's what motivates me. It scares me also. Because I believe that we are all leaving a lot on the table. And now when I go to heaven, what I want God to look at me and say is, as you were living, I'm the all-knowing man. I had to get a damn marker out and write more as you were living. You see what I'm saying? I want to impress him. That's what I'm here for. I want to do the impossible. Do the impossible.
A lot of times we talk about inspiration. I say a lot of times motivation's temporary, inspiration lasts forever.
Right.
And then there's a lot of words thrown around. You've been on the speaker circuit. A lot of people get up and they talk a lot of cliche words or sayings or one-liners.
It's a bunch of shit. No one's putting the work in. They're saying it, going back to the bungalows, chilling out with room service and shit. Yeah, it's a bunch of noise.
So what would you say is your inspiration today? And then the curiosity that I have is, what is your inspiration and how would you define leadership? I mean, you've come up through the military and you had to find an opportunity to lead yourself at some point. And I just think it's interesting because if you ask everybody in this audience what their definition of leadership is, everyone's going to give you a little bit different answer, different perspective. So I don't know. I'm just curious. That's something I'm just curious about.
Well, we'll do leadership first. Leadership is being very uncomfortable all the time. It is holding yourself to such a standard that is almost untouchable. You may not have any friends. You may have a jacked up life. Maybe you have a jacked up marriage. It's being unbalanced. You've literally dedicated your life to a higher cause, a higher purpose beyond you. And it takes that person in your life to understand your mission. And it's totally mission oriented. It's that guy that's like, okay, let's say we're going to work out at 5 o'clock and I'm in charge. I'm the leader. My guys and my girls, whoever it may be, need to see me running to work at 3:30. I need to take every excuse that they may have away from them. They need to see me outworking them every day, not trying to put them down, but saying, God, man, if he's doing this, man, so when I tell you to do something, you can't say no. You realize he's getting after it every day. I cannot say no to him. He's leading by example. So that's what it's all about. It's about, and people say lead by example. It's so easy to say that, man. It's so easy to say that, but to do that every day, to wake up every day miserable and say, God, I don't want to do this anymore, that's when you know you're a leader. When you're at that point and you're saying to yourself, every night is Groundhog's Day. Every single day, you know, I'm going back in the lab again, man. I'm going back in the lab every single day. You know it's not going to end. That's when you know you're being a leader, when your life truly is it sucks. It's just truth, man.
Perspective.
Being a leader is horrible. It is. I did it for a lot of years, man. You have to set that bar even higher, because you have to have something for people to look for, people to reach.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and there's weight, right? There's responsibility. We have another event we called Leadership Coaching Dynamics, which we look at defining leadership, and a lot of times there's a difference in somebody that's achieving versus leading.
Right.
And one of the things that we define on it is accepting the responsibility and realizing that once you accept that responsibility, it has weight. Everyone wants the recognition of a leader, to be called a leader, but not everybody wants to accept the responsibility of what that means, so to speak. And so that's kind of how we I guess, would phrase it at Leadership Coaching Dynamics.
People love scoring the touchdowns, man, but no one wants to be a lineman.
Right.
They get praised for scoring the touchdowns. That lineman is doing all the work.
Right.
The conversation revolves around the concepts of inspiration and leadership. David Goggins notes that while motivation is often temporary, true inspiration is enduring. Many speakers use cliches as, but without action, it's meaningless. When asked about his inspiration and definition of leadership, David emphasizes that true leadership is about constant discomfort and self-sacrifice. It involves setting an almost unreachable standard for oneself, often leading to a challenging personal life. Leadership requires leading by example, which means outworking everyone and removing their excuses. It's about consistency and dedication, even when every day feels repetitive and difficult. True leaders live with a sense of mission, continually pushing themselves and inspiring their teams through their relentless effort. Furthermore, the conversation touches on the distinction between achieving and leading. True leadership carries a heavy responsibility and requires accepting the burdens that come with it. While many desire the recognition of being a leader, not everyone is willing to bear the associated responsibilities. This difference is crucial in understanding what it means to lead effectively. The conversation explores David's sources of inspiration and their understanding of leadership. He reflects on the belief that they are on Earth for a purpose and that their hardships were meant to help them unlock human potential and share it with others. This realization came from questioning why they were put through various challenges and recognizing that overcoming these challenges led to significant personal growth and transformation. David emphasizes the importance of pushing beyond comfort zones and the limited mindset that keeps people from realizing their full potential. He described a metaphorical box. that people live in, where comfort resides, and the transformative experiences that lie outside of it, achieved through perseverance and hard work. When asked about current challenges, David notes that he have mastered the art of climbing metaphorical walls and are no longer afraid to face new challenges. He stressed the importance of each person figuring out their own equation in life, as there is no one-size-fits-all solution to mental toughness and personal growth. The conversation then shifts to practical advice for others. David warns against relying solely on motivation, which is fleeting, and instead advocates for being driven and obsessed. He highlights the need for quiet introspection to understand one's purpose and urges spending time alone to reflect deeply. David shares a personal fear of leaving potential untapped, using a vivid visualization of meeting God and being shown a chart of what he could have been had he was not made the right choices. This fear drives him to strive for his best and to inspire others to do the same, believing that everyone has more to offer and achieve than they might realize.